So, what do you guys want to talk about?
You can call this the New World Order of Wrestling, brother. Put out the caution tape. Put out the orange cones. Acknowledge me.
It's Monday, and you know what that means. We're Canada's newest wrestling radio show here on KPHR Radio, and we are A+ Wrestling. A+ Wrestling would not be possible without amazing tag team partners like T.O. Boat Tours. T.O. Boat Tours, Ontario's premier boat tour experience where adventure meets relaxation on the stunning waters of Canada's most beautiful lakes and rivers in Ontario. That's TOBoatTours.com. This show's part of the A+ Productions and A+ Wrestling Podcast Network, and now part of KPHR, that's Cat Power Hit Radio. We are more than just a weekly radio show. We actually have a slew of shows for you each and every single week on the A+ Productions Podcast Network, where we talk sports, entertainment, and then we bring it all together to talk some sports entertainment, also known as wrestling. You can find us on any podcasting platform as A+ Productions, but if you really only want to listen to our wrestling shows, then you can find us under A+ Wrestling. We can be found online at aplusproductions.com, and on all of the social medias, you can find us as A+ Productions. If you want to be part of the conversation, the best place for that to happen is on the Facebook group. And for that, all you need to do is go to facebook.com and search for A+ Productions. We have a jam-packed show for you today. We're going to be talking some Night of Champions, and we're going to be doing our usual roundtable and preview what is to come this week on the world of professional wrestling. As I mentioned earlier, I'm Boris, and this week I am actually here with a couple people. My tag team podcasting partner, Matt.
Hey everybody, it is Coronation Station this week. We got a king and a queen of the ring to talk about an interesting Night of Champions show. One of the better Saudi shows, but that doesn't mean much overall. But yeah, glad to be here talking some wrestling with you, Boris.
Excellent. And also joining us is Hutch. Hutch, welcome to A+ Productions and the A+ family here on KPHR.
Wonderful. How you guys doing? Glad to be on the show. It's like the Dave and Bob McKenzie kind of A, like AEH plus, like, hey, we're Canadian, A. Like, I love it.
That's exactly it. That's the branding behind it. We're Canadian, coming from Canada here on KPHR. We, like I mentioned, we do have a full show for you. So before we get to the wrestling, well, we're going to be taking a short break. And then on the other side of the break, we're going to be talking some WWE Night of Champions. As Matt mentioned, a king and queen of the ring were crowned. And then we're going to be talking about the week that was and the week that will be pro wrestling here on KPHR, and we'll be right back.
This is Joseph Vendetti from Barbarian Bar Fitness, your source for Canadian-made functional fitness equipment built for the grind. Pro wrestling doesn't take an off-season. It's 52 weeks of punishing work in and out of the ring. That's why we designed versatile, battle-tested gear to help you train harder, recover smarter, and stay ready for the spotlight. Our mission? To empower wrestlers, coaches, and athletes with equipment that elevates your performance and amplifies your impact. Visit barbarianbarfitness.com and unleash your potential.
And we are back here on A+ Wrestling here on KPHR, and I am still joined by Hutch and Matt. And gentlemen, let us chat some Night of Champions. Hutch, what did you feel about the show?
What did I feel? I'm not sure if I felt what I'm supposed to feel. Like, these are supposed to feel big, right? Like, these are huge stadium shows in Saudi, and they push everything about it, but somehow they feel small. Like, I feel like I'm being lied to with these massive Saudi shows. Like, they're like massive house shows that they try and sprinkle in and make important, but somehow it just doesn't feel right. And it's nice to see that there's fans getting into it. It's not just guys on hard cam, you know, all in the same outfits looking at their phones like some of the first ones. Like, the fans are getting into it. But I don't know. I liked it. It was a decent show, but I don't think I feel like how they think I'm supposed to feel. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense, because that's exactly how I feel, right? Like, I think it's that mental game also, knowing that these shows are in Saudi Arabia, and with everything that has been happening over the past few weeks, right? It really did take me out from a fan's point of view, right? From that human point of view. Sometimes you can't shake that off, regardless of how good or bad the matches were, right? That's kind of how I feel. Matt, how did you feel about the show overall?
Yeah, I agree with that. There is a certain soullessness to these Saudi shows, aren't there? And the crowd is loud, but it doesn't come close to like the crowds we've seen in Germany or France, or even a really good Canadian or American crowd. There's like a certain amount of heart that's just missing from the whole thing. But it is nice to see the younger Saudi fans really get into these shows, really like cheer for Rhea Ripley and stuff like that. Like, that's actually very nice. So I try to look at the silver lining of this dark cloud that is the sports washing going on here with this Night of Champions show. Yeah, nothing really great on it, but also I didn't think anything was terrible, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Nothing great, nothing terrible. We'll give our thoughts shortly on all of the matches, but yeah, it just felt weird overall. And, especially a afternoon show in the middle of the summer on the weekend, it was really hard to just sit down and watch some wrestling, right? I actually had to break the show up in a few parts to really take it all in, right? Do my notes and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that was that. All right, Jen.
Yeah, like imagine you did a live show. Imagine you did a live show afterwards. Suddenly, your regular Saturday or Sunday after a PLE, whatever they are now, suddenly you're doing it at like 4 p.m, and you're like, oh, hey, welcome to the show, guys. And it's just a totally different feel for you, for the audience, for everyone. I mean, we saw Sting's only WrestleMania like in the huge blazing sun. Like, that's kind of how these Saudi shows feel in a lot of ways. Like they're out of place.
Yeah. They kind of feel, I've always said this, that they kind of feel out of canon. And I know that they're trying really hard to put them in canon and make them meaningful, but there's just something like that I don't know what factor to it. And you're right? And the only good part is that, well, you get to enjoy the rest of your Saturday if we did do a post show, which we will be bringing them back shortly here on A Plus Wrestling. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It just doesn't feel right. All right, gents, let's go quickly down. Go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt. No, I don't want to interrupt. Sorry. I got to learn the format of your show. I was going to say, though, that they're shooting themselves in their foot. The reason it does feels non-canon is they kind of spoon-fed that to us that way. I mean, you had Braun Strowman winning a 40-man Rumble with a title that you're never going to see again holding over his head. And even these grand championship things, like, that's a suggestion from the Saudis. Like, how about we have your two champions face each other and we'll give you all this money? Like, this is big money with minimal effort. They have to sell WrestleMania. They kind of have to sell the Rumble, but they definitely have to sell BEP pay-per-views. This is big money with minimal effort. They could put anybody on the show. Like, okay, Raquel Rodriguez, and throw Karrion Kross on there. He hasn't had a PLE for like 4 years or whatever. So in some ways, it's out of canon because they don't have to behave the way they usually behave to get those results.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. What makes it really more interesting there for me is the fact that, look, in 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, we have a weekend full of shows on the WWE side with Evolution, with Saturday night's main event, etc. Right? And even it's a busy weekend. And here, right, a month away from SummerSlam, there's just a lot of shows that they're really trying to build towards. And I understand kind of like, the rotating staff, so to speak, in terms of wrestlers and superstars, but it just, I don't know, nothing feels grand, or like we're not getting the time to build up to certain stories. Like, there's one match in particular that I felt could have been built up a little better. But yeah, so let's get to it. Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes was the opening match of the show. The winner was going to be crowned King of the Ring, and we get a world title match for their brand at SummerSlam. Matt, was there any doubt that Cody was not going to win?
No, it was pretty clear Cody was going to win this thing. We kind of thought maybe Sami Zayn, maybe Jey Uso, but once we got to the final, it was Cody versus Randy Orton. Something I didn't even clue into until watching the show was that Randy Orton was going to lose twice back-to-back in the finals, 2024 and 2025, finalist loser, the Edmonton Oilers of WWE, is Randy Orton here. But yeah, this was the best match on the show in my estimation. I kind of like the finish. They were both kind of leaning heel a little bit, and then Orton went full evil, tried to rip the turnbuckle pad off, got shoved into the turnbuckle pad, or the exposed turnbuckle, I should say, ate Cody's finisher, and that was that. Yeah, I mean, a good match, not great, but like definitely not a waste of your time. You can go back and watch it if you love these two guys. Go watch this one. It was a solid one for sure, and the right man won.
Agreed. Hutch, thoughts on this match?
Same opinion. I thought the same thing about Randy Orton, 2 years in a row. But, instead of being the Edmonton Oilers, I guess it's kind of a compliment. Like, we know that you can take it. We know that putting somebody over you in the finals makes somebody look better. So it's it's a compliment on Randy Orton to a degree. But was this year's match better than Gunther's match? I mean, Cody Rhodes really doesn't have bad matches these days. I used to think he had bad matches a lot. I didn't like his moonsault off the top, and I felt like everything was contrived. There were moves he chose, and whether or not he did them well or not, he was going to do them anyways. But he's got his shtick down now. He doesn't have bad matches, but I'm not sure if this was as good as Gunther last year. But, it served its purpose. I don't think there's any matches on this show that were unpredictable. Just like Matt said, as soon as it wasn't Jay or Sammy in that final match, everybody knew it was going to be Cody.
Yep. And there we go. There we have the setup: Cody Rhodes versus John Cena at SummerSlam. Let's quickly talk about that before we go to the next match. Matt, thoughts on Rhodes and Cena doing it again, the second biggest show of the year?
Yeah, this one actually, it wouldn't surprise me if Cena lost it, although I do think they will keep the belt on Cena. I can see them going right back to Cody and letting Cena kind of gradually become babyface again for his last few matches, because he will get cheered out of the building in his last one or two matches for sure. But maybe they extend the story and they come up, hopefully, for the love of Jeff, hopefully they come up with something a little more entertaining than Travis Scott and one single belt shot to end this match if John Cena wins. But I feel like Cena will win, but it's not a guarantee.
Agreed. Hutch, I'm going to throw something your way, something that Matt and I talked about a few weeks ago here on KPHR, and that is what are the possibilities that we see a double turn at SummerSlam with Cena and Cody?
I have heard people talk about, is Cody going to go heel? I mean, especially with this whole Randy Orton thing, that he pushed him into that turnbuckle, even though Randy took the turnbuckle off. And, he cheated to win, and with the referee down and stuff like that. But I don't want to see a heel Cody. It's not really something I want to see. And I think recently he was talking to Van Vliet or someone. He said he'll probably go heel, but he mentioned a 2 or 3 year time frame. And I kind of need that. I don't think I need Cody to go heel for any reason other than The Rock or Triple H or somebody who is above him saying, oh, I think it's a really good idea, and just being like, well, okay, I guess we'll do it. But I still think he's got a lot of steam in him as a babyface. The way I see this Randy Orton and Cody thing is Randy Orton was almost given his career. He looked great. He was brought into the Performance Center or into OVW, and he was given all of these opportunities and pushed into the main event, whereas Cody Rhodes was kind of like shit on and pushed away, and he wanted this his whole life and fought for it to get where he is, whereas Randy was kind of given this and was just a wrestler, and yeah. Like, he didn't have to fight and claw for respect, whereas Cody did. So I don't want to see Cody turn heel. He's finally where he needs to be. He's the altruistic babyface that's living his dream. Why would he turn heel? He only because he's pissed at these guys who screwed him over? I don't know if it's a good enough reason.
That's exactly it. For me, one of the weird part is, like, it's right now in wrestling in general, it's so hard to find such an organic babyface. Why would you want to turn Cody at this point, right? It's very rare to find someone that the fans pretty much adore the way that they do Cody. Yeah, he has his haters, but for the most part, Cody is adored in his the second WWE run. Matt, quick thoughts on that?
I agree wholeheartedly with everything said. The crowd will decide when it's time to turn Cody, and there are a few boos scattered. The WrestleMania Vegas crowd was kind of a one-off, but they did boo Cody there. It's happening a little bit, but not nearly enough to actually pull the trigger. The crowd will let you know when it's time to turn this guy. It is not yet time to turn this guy.
Agreed.
He's walking a very fine line. He's walking a fine line because you can be too sappy as a baby face And you can, so he's really going right up to that edge and not crossing it. Because there were times where I was almost getting ready to roll my eyes at Cody, and like the beginning of this match, they played both their songs like way too long and too much yeeting in general. Like this is the kind of stuff where if you get too sappy, it'll be easy to boo Cody because he'll be too sanctimonious to really cheer. So as long as he stays away from that and he's still scrappy, then I think he's got a lot of legs in him still.
Very interesting, very interesting. All right, the second match of the night was a street fight. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. So much history between these two best friends in NXT, behind the scenes to bitter enemies here on the main roster. Really fun match overall. Like, I had zero issues with this match. Was this match memorable? No. Was this match horrible? Far from. But this was just a match that happened, and thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, I like this one too. Second best match on the show, I think safely. We kind of dove off a cliff a little bit at the end of this one. But yeah, I like the finish with a wobbly table on the top rope. Rhea Ripley pins Raquel Rodriguez after a top rope, an avalanche riptide thing. This was good. It was nice to see Roxanne Perez getting a big spot on the Saudi show and getting quickly obliterated by Rhea Ripley. But yeah, overall, the silver medalist on this show, second best match, and the ladies looked good. And it actually kind of warmed my heart to see male children in the Saudi Arabian crowd cheering for Rhea Ripley like she was friggin' Hulk Hogan or John Cena. They loved her, they respected her, they wanted her to win. She got her big pop for doing so. I like that part of it. That's my big takeaway from this match.
Yep. Hutch, thoughts on this match?
I agree completely with Matt about the kids. It was really nice. It's nice to see the women being accepted. Nobody's throwing garbage, and Natalya coming down to ringside now. Everybody's responding really well. And maybe silver medal match for the evening, maybe Matt, but certainly gold medal performance for Rodriguez. I mean, perhaps the best performance since coming up to the main roster for her, certainly in a singles match. And with the emergency, I guess, with Liv hurting herself, I don't know if this was originally the plan or what, but they certainly did a good job of making everybody think this is a big rivalry. Yes, they were friends. I think her final match in NXT, Rodriguez, was a Street Fighter and ODQ match against Rhea Ripley, so they have their history in NXT. But they did a good job of making everybody feel like, oh man, it's still going on right now too, and this is a really big match, and they stepped up. It was a hell of a good match, and WWE did their promo magic to make us all feel like a feud that really didn't exist suddenly existed. And I think they did a great job of that, and the two ladies did a great job too. Referee was the hero here, holding the table and other things outside the ring and whatnot. But come Royal Rumble time next year, if we've got 30 ladies all dressed in all black bodysuits, I think we're gonna have a problem. So that's my only worry here, with all three ladies coming out here basically looking the same.
Yeah, I thought of that as well. That was something that did come up. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're completely right. They're going to have to get 30 different colors and try to gussy up those bodysuits, because that's happening. I strongly doubt they're going to change their policy on that one in the next few months. And it sucks. Well,
Charlotte's going to be in all white with rhinestones, obviously, right? But everybody else will be wearing black. Sorry to cut you off there, man.
Yeah, it's true. My question here is, what is next for Rhea Ripley? I kind of feel like she's in a bit of a holding pattern, eh, Matt?
I agree, but she's still so popular. She is, but she's a little like, it's not Hulk Hogan 1986. It's Hulk Hogan like 1991. Bloom's starting to get off the rose just a little bit, but she is so popular that it's kind of like a little bit of the Cody Rhodes thing. Holding pattern's a good way to put it. Kind of just wait it out. Let these pops actually die down before you turn her heel or do something else with the character. But holding pattern is the right word. She's kind of just flying pretty safe right now.
Yep, absolutely. All right, we're going to move on to the next match of the night, which kind of felt like a match that was built up but also rushed. And that was Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, with Sami Zayn getting the win in about 14 minutes. Matt, thoughts on this match?
It's pretty much exactly what I expected. Karrion Kross is a great talker, great presence, all the charisma in the world. Obviously, Scarlett by his side helps the act, and then he gets in the ring, and you're like, there's not a ton there. And I do like me some Carry On Cross, although it is the worst name in professional wrestling to this day. A terrible, cheesy name, but the performer is solid. I just wish he had a little more in the ring. You know what I mean? That's what's keeping him out of the main event.
Yeah. Hutch, thoughts on that?
I'm kind of on the fence here. Like, I love Killer Cross, but I can't do a YouTube video on Killer Cross because YouTube's going to flag me for calling him Killer Cross. So, like, when he becomes Killer Cross, when he does that interview at WrestleMania weekend, when that character comes out, it's great. But yeah, Carrion's not a great name, and Carrion's not a really great wrestler. I want to see him succeed. I just don't even know how to articulate this. He could be world champion. He could be the best that there is. And it's not about wrestling. I mean, our opening match here was pretty old school with Cody and Orton. I mean, there was a lot of headlocks. There was a lot of drop down, takedown. It was very old school wrestling. There was not a lot of high flying. You don't need to be the best wrestler in the world when you're in WWE. What you need is a cool entrance with a hot bitch by your side and you're like 6'7", 6'8". Like, this guy has it. And he's different. There's something, I don't know, but I just don't think it's going to work for him in WWE. I don't think it's going to work for him in AEW either. I think Karrion Kross is a great wrestler, but wrestling might not be his thing. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's a really hard one there, right? Like, he's got presence. He's got what it takes to be in WWE, right? But there's something, and I don't know what it is. That there's something missing there. And hopefully,
I don't know if it's him that needs to change, or we just don't get it yet.
Yeah.
He's going to have that promo or that feud or that thing where you suddenly go, and it like comes together, because he's freaking cool as hell, man. Like, outside the ring, he's a cool dude. He can work. He works safe. And, one thing I'll say about him is, even with the limited amount of screen time they give him, whether it's in the ring or backstage, he makes almost every word and every movement count. You go back and you watch that match with Sammy just now. It wasn't the longest match on the card. It wasn't Jade Cargill short, but it was succinct, to the point, and every single thing mattered. He was slow, he was methodical, but there was no wasted movement. Everything Karrion Kross does has meaning. It's just, I don't think we get it yet.
Yep. All right. The next match was for the WWE United States Championship. Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa. This was probably the biggest surprise of the night. I thought Jacob Fatu would just completely destroy Solo Sikoa, but obviously this story is continuing as we have a new United States champion in Solo Sikoa with a ton of interference and a debuting Hikuleo, which will be interesting if he will be called Hikuleo. But yeah, man. Hutch, thoughts on this match?
Tala Tonga is not a great name. I hope they don't go with Tala Tonga. Hikuleo is kind of cool. But thoughts on the match? I got to admit, I thought the opposite of you, Boris. As soon as I heard that Hikuleo was on the flight and he was on his way there, my thoughts were confirmed. I thought Jacob Fatu was going to lose this match. Jacob Fatu is hot. You can do anything to this freaking guy, and he's not going to not be over. Solo Sikoa needs something. If he lost this match, where does his bloodline go? Where does Mateo go? Where does Hikuleo? They got nothing. He needs to be that shit-ass heel that's not a great wrestler, but is still champ and cheats all the time to win. He needed this belt, and now Fatu needs a reason to be even more mad at him. It's like, Fatu's too cool for school. He doesn't even care. Screw Solo. He doesn't even need revenge. He's like, I got the belt, and I don't even need you. I'm above you. So he needs a reason to care, and Solo needs a reason for us to care about him, and this title change was it. So I saw this coming, and I thought it was a great match. I think Fatu can do no wrong. We tried to book him for Demand Lucha for years and years and years, but he couldn't cross the border with his charges. Same thing with Nick Gage. So I would just watch him at PCW Ultra and at House of Glory, and he was always amazing in the ring, and I think he's doing really well now. And yeah, this match was a little bit boring because Solo's not that great, but I dug it from beginning to end. I was into it.
Yeah, it was a good match. I think I'm a bigger fan of Solo Sikoa than compared to a lot of people. Like, I think he's fine in ring. I think he's really cool. Matt, thoughts on this match?
Yeah, the good thing about Solo is he's finding some personality in there. He's starting to to be a little sassier, mimic his opponent's taunts and stuff, and he's showing a little more personality in the ring, which he really needed, because I guess he could be a little bland, maybe would be the word. But yeah, this was fine. It was nice to see Tonga Loa showed up too. But yeah, the big news is that Hickey Leo has debuted. Hikaleo. I'm a Hikaleo boy, you're a Hikaleo girl. Together, it's a Hikaleo world, Boris. But
we definitely buried the lead. This should have been like Tonga Loa returns. That should have been the first thing we talked about on this podcast. Like, really. Like, oh my God. That's freaking wrestling to its core.
Matt?
Yeah, good little match though, and yeah, once we found out that Hikaleo was going to be there, it was a little obvious, but I guess this feud must continue. They needed some kind of motivation, as Hutch said, and that's interesting, man. It would have been really cool to see if you could have gotten your hands on Fatu and seen him in Toronto for some Demand Lucha. That would have been sick. Too bad that couldn't have worked out.
Yeah, like Grim Reaper was like, yeah, I got no charges. And I'm like, okay, well, what about these other guys? None of them? Okay, fine, Grim Reaper. You know, like it's not who you expect. But yeah, unfortunately, he couldn't travel. I think that was a problem with WWE wanting to sign him and book him for a while, because he's really a natural. He's very safe. He protects his opponents. I mean, he took that one move off the top, kind of landed on his face, and he just shook it off. I mean, this guy's an animal. And I've always loved his dad. Dude, Body Slam was one of my favorite movies, and I'm glad... man, Fatu, he's the kind of guy who almost, he could have ended it all and been like, screw this. And wrestling was slowly chipping away at his soul of non-success. And I'm glad he finally got it, and it's coming hard and fast, and he deserves it, man. He's amazing.
Yeah, excellent. All right, the next match of the evening was to crown the queen of the ring, and it was Asuka versus Jade Cargill. Again, similar to the men's, I think, Matt, you and I kind of said Jade Cargill from day zero.
Yeah, it sure seemed like there have been like reports, and you never know with this kind of story specifically on the dirt sheets, as it were, but we've been hearing that Jade Cargill is poised for a major push this summer. That's what everyone's saying. And I mean, you can kind of just make that up if you really wanted to. Who knows with those kinds of stories, but it does appear to be the fact, at least right now. And man, Jade, she looks amazing. Like physically, she's an incredible presence. This was more of an interesting match than a good match. It was like fascinating to see what Asuka could do to try to get a good match out of Jade. They mostly succeeded. It wasn't bad or anything. Jade did not get a big pop, not a Rhea Ripley pop for Jade becoming queen of the ring here.
Yeah. Hutch, thoughts?
I don't have to be as kind as Matt, perhaps. I mean, they always say if you don't have anything kind to say nothing. Like, I'm pretty positive with my wrestling, but I don't want to be positive about Jade Cargill. I kept trying to be positive. Now I'm almost feeling a little insulted. I mean, my girls down in NST, you got Jordan Grace down there. You got all kinds of people coming in there. And Jade Cargill's going straight to the main roster and getting all these pushes just because of how she looks. I mean, she can't talk. She can't wrestle. She can't move. She can't do nothing but look good. It's insulting to all of us to have to watch them slowly try and convince us that this woman can wrestle, which she cannot, and spoon feed her up to us and put her in the ring with Bianca Belair and like all these things. Like, I'm trying not to actually pop off here. I don't want to go all JD from NY and like start yelling and screaming about the idiots in booking, but I'm starting to get a little insulted here. I don't want to see this woman on my screen. She looks great. And if she can accomplish what they're trying to do with her, great. But it's very obvious that it's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen in a couple years. It's not going to happen, maybe it's not going to happen. This is a failed experiment. In my opinion, kill it now. Done. And just like I said at the beginning, nothing here was unexpected or a surprise. We all know that she was going to win. We all know that she's probably going to beat somebody at SummerSlam, whoever she chooses. I guess it's going to be Stratton. And then probably she's going to have the cash in, and then we're going to keep on going. But I'm finding the entire thing rather tedious, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because I guess that's the biggest thing, right? At this point, at SummerSlam, I think everyone's kind of expecting Naomi's cash in to happen, on Jade Cargill. Is that what we want?
I mean, yeah, Naomi's doing the best she's ever done. I'm sorry if that was for Matt to talk. I think she's at the best spot in her career she's been in a while. She's going all Raquel Rodriguez. She's stepping up because they're giving her the ball, and she's ready for it this time. I don't think Jade is.
Yep. Matt, thoughts on that? We've talked about that in the past.
Yeah, no, that's for sure going to happen. It sure seems like that's going to be the case. I do think Jade isn't quite at the level of a lot of people, but with all due respect, I think what Hutch just said is insane, abjectly insane, and completely, totally untrue. To say that she
conflict, amazing.
Right, exactly. Sorry.
It's just wild. It's just so soon, so unbelievable. That's like an unfair take. Give her a chance to cook a little bit. She's had like 10 WWE matches, but
dude, I'll give her a chance to cook.
Right, it's not working.
I would love to give her a chance to cook at my local Greasy Spoon restaurant. She could cook, and I'll go there for breakfast every Saturday. I'm not going to the Gordon Ramsay restaurant downtown, and they're serving me Jade Cargill. Like, they've got Lash Legend down there. They've got Jordan Grace down there. They've got all these girls at NXT that can come up and do what they want to do with Jade Cargill, but they just can't sell those people the way they can sell Jade Cargill. She looks amazing, and like, she's got rappers in her DMs and tweet, and she's got lots of followers online. Like, I get it. But I'm here to watch wrestling, and I'm finding this to be, it's going to be another failed experiment, bro. I mean, this is like, she's the Giant Gonzalez of like modern wrestling. I don't know what to say.
That is just insanely harsh and absolutely.
This is not good. How she can't even she screwed up the finish. She couldn't even like roll her up properly. You're never going to get that other camera angle that shows Asuka's shoulders right off the mat. That's not going to happen.
Again, with all due respect, please go watch your Giant Gonzalez takes, because that's go watch. pop on a Gonzalez match on YouTube. Gonzalez Tatanka, King of the Ring qualifier or whatever it was. But yeah, she's not there yet, but it's just way too soon to write her off. And this is the thing. I'm so glad you said the Gordon Ramsay thing. WWE isn't a Gordon Ramsay restaurant. It's friggin' McDonald's. It's Walmart. It is the place where you go for substance. It is put on the back burner. It's style over substance. That's what it is. That's what it's always been. This is, you know who she is? She's closer to the Warlord, which isn't a compliment, but it's better than Giant Gonzalez.
Okay, I just threw out a name, and you know what? I will agree with that completely. She is way more Warlord than Giant Gonzalez. But this isn't 1994 where we've got 90 minutes of Raw on a Monday. Right now we've got Evolve, we've got NXT, we've got all these different things. Yes, WWE in Saudi Arabia is the Gordon Ramsay of restaurants right now. That's their top shit. WWE title in gold, John Cena, never seen 17. This is the top thing on the menu, and this is one of the top cards. So if I want to go have a Greasy Spoon McDonald's, I'm going to go see Evolve, and I don't want to see Jade Cargill as one of the main specials at my Gordon Ramsay restaurant. But the reason I'm so passionate about this is because I want to be proven wrong. 2 or 3 years from now, I want to be like, God damn, that Charlotte Flair Jade Cargill match was it, and I cannot believe how good that was. That's where I want to be a few years from now. And I don't think it's happening.
There we go. Well, it's on tape here at KPHR, so we're going to be playing it back in a few years, right to you, Hutch, and we'll see whether you were right or wrong.
Matt, you were so right, Matt. Like, I was so wrong my first time on the show, and I had such a heavy opinion, and I was wrong the whole time. So maybe we'll get
gotta
there.
let it fly, brother. I'd rather have that than nothing at all, than a boring show. You know what I mean? But that is a hot, scorching take.
Love it. All right.
Maybe I went a little hard, but still. Go on. Sorry, Boris.
That's all good, gents. All right, we are going to the undisputed WWE Championship match, John Cena versus CM Punk. And before we even talk about this match, let's talk about Punk Life from SmackDown. Matt, thoughts on the promo?
Yeah, I thought that was better than Cena's pipe bomb. I thought that was an awesome promo. Impressed by Punk just rattling that entire thing off the dome, no notes, no teleprompter, not writing stuff on his arm like The Rock. I thought that was impressive work by Punk. A little bit of a return to form for CM Punk, like remembering who this guy is and should be on the microphone. I thought it was dope. The match, it was probably their weakest match that they've ever had together, but that's due to their age and the setting and whatever else. Went 30 minutes too. It was getting a little long in the tooth, but not bad by any means. Kind of just there. The promo on SmackDown, definitely the highlight of this weekend for Punk and Cena.
Hutch, thoughts on this match and the promo?
On the match, we were starting with Punk Life, so I thought it was good. You are correct. Long flight, different altitudes, having to remember something. I guarantee you, this was probably the hardest thing Punk has done since returning to wrestling in general, AEW as well. Maybe dealing with people backstage might have been harder. But flying to Saudi and having to remember a rap was probably the most nerve-wracking thing he's had to do since coming back. And I mean, as somebody that books and promotes wrestling, I love to laugh at mistakes. I love to laugh at goofy stuff and just be like, oh, well. And so that was great. I laughed at it. It got the thing done. But, you know, if I was a hardcore wrestling reviewer online, I might be saying, like, are they trying to sabotage, like, Punk here? Like, they didn't give him Money in the Bank, which would have been better setup for their entire history and feud. They're making him go to Saudi. They're making him apologize to the crowd. They're making him come out and do a rap that, even though it was good, he still flubbed it a bit, and he still was a 45-year-old white guy trying to do a rap. And, you know, even John Cena doing his version of the pipe bomb with CM Punk. Like, how much does a table hurt? How many AAs did he take in this main event? I mean, they spammed finishers, but he took one through a table and then had to sit there for like 11, 12 minutes while Cena did his version of the pipe bomb. At least when Punk was on stage, Cena was in the ring and they might show you a cut once in a while, but literally most of the shots were looking over Punk at Cena. I mean, this kind of made, in a lot of ways, this is if I was a hardcore online reviewer that really was like, everything has to be perfect and blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, they're burying Punk. They're burying Punk. But in general, I think Punk's just having a good time. He's like, yeah, whatever. I'll do whatever you want. Let's do the rap. Yeah, sure. Let's do it in the ring and I'll lie there while he does the promo. I'm kind of on the fence back and forth with this entire thing since the turn, but this was a great match. Fun times were had by all. Lots of interference at the end with Seth and all these guys, and man, a rough bump for Punk through that table. But in general, I don't know, it was pretty fun. I was looking forward to it, and I enjoyed it. So isn't that the point?
Exactly. You were sports entertained. That's all that you have to be when you're watching wrestling. You know, sometimes we get too into it, especially, you know, having podcasts and radio shows and stuff like that. But I try to take a step back and just try to really enjoy these shows as a fan, right? Because that's why we fell in love with this stuff, because we were all fans at some point. Matt, additional thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I'm glad you shouted out Hutch. That bump on the table that Punk took, it was like Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed were attempting to give Punk like a lifting spine buster thing on the table. They didn't get him very high, and it looked like he took it right in the small of the back. That looked like the most painful thing on the show by a wide margin. Hope CM Punk is okay. That looked horrible. Really, really bad. Yeah, the Seth Rollins CM Punk feud also must continue. I guess we're just doing this forever, but I'm sure they're gonna have an awesome Hell in a Cell or some kind of blow-off match down the line. Maybe Punk will beat Rollins after he cashes in on whoever to win the title back. Maybe that'll happen at SummerSlam. Who knows? With Punk, Hutch, I got a question for you for CM Punk. What was harder, remembering that rap or choking out Jungle Boy?
I think choking out, I don't know. It was obviously it was harder on Tony Khan than anybody else, because that incident has traumatized him forever, right? But yeah, I guarantee you that I wasn't kidding, man. I'm trying to think. I'm a pretty talkative guy. I do a lot of stuff in my life, and if somebody was like, "Hey, can you please take this 16-hour flight, change your entire time zone, different altitude, you're gonna have a lot of trouble breathing a little, and oh, by the way, can you also remember this? I think it's not just 16 bars. I think we're looking at 48 bar rap. Can you memorize this, please? Thanks a lot." Like, dude, that's some rough shit. And some of the rhymes were not that great. Like, some of them sounded like the writer's room was like, hey, that powerbomb sure went wrong. What the hell is wrong with the bombs? And you're like, oh, okay, sure. Like, they're just making it up, and they're like, we'll go with that. Like, I just made that up. That was pretty bad, right? But like, it didn't feel very natural.
No, it did not. That's a great way to put it. It did not feel natural. It was a little more spoken word poem, a little more slam poetry than traditional hip hop out of Punk there. But it was impressive. Like you said, like only the dog collar match versus MJF, and even that possibly not as taxing as CM Punk rapping on SmackDown.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the fact that there's a lot of online haters and reviewers out there, and I am not seeing a lot of people being like, "Oh my God, that Punk rap was so painful. Oh my God, I can't." Like, nobody's shitting on it. So I think that really says a lot. At least not a lot of people are shitting on it.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen like very minimal negativity towards that, but overall, people have liked that. And yeah, I think that this match did exactly what it was supposed to do, and it was really just, a little bump on the way to SummerSlam for John Cena as he heads to headline SummerSlam. I'm guessing night 2 SummerSlam with Cody Rhodes. Gentlemen, there you go. But before we go, thumbs up or thumbs down for this show? Hutch, I'm starting with you.
Geez, I guess, you know what? I'll give it a thumbs up. And I'll tell you why. Because the Saudi shows are slowly getting better. Like, this was a nightmare. Like, when they first did the first Saudi show and the first Greatest Royal Rumble, if they were like, hey, guess what? 8 years from now, they're still going to be doing, they'll be doing 2 of them a year, and they're going to start doing Mania and Rumble there. We're like, oh my fucking God. And sorry to swear. And I still have that feeling, oh my God. But it's not quite so bad anymore. They're slowly turning us around. But in some fashion, these shows really feel like they're on a leash. It's all just a show. It's all just, here's your money, please do what we want. Saudi gets WWE for their people. And okay, do you think we could get Goldberg? Yeah, we could probably get Goldberg. Could he face Iron Sheik? And maybe like, no, Iron Sheik's dead. Oh, okay, how about this guy? I feel like it's non-wrestling fans throwing their weight around and their money around, and they're really, I guess we could get Goldberg and Kevin Nash. Sure, I love those guys. I'm like, sure. Hey, Kevin, what are you doing? It's not because WWE wants to do it. It's because it behooves them to do it. So, yeah, thumbs up in general. I wish they weren't going to Saudi, but if they're going to, the shows are getting better.
Matt, thumbs up or thumbs down?
I'm going to go slight thumbs down, kind of agreeing with everything that Hutch just said, but it did make for kind of a rough watch. Though they're drastically improved, it's like a 4 or 5 out of 10 versus a 0 out of 10. And kind of like Hutch said, like they wanted to book Yokozuna, who wrestling historians will note is dead. Like
there we go.
They're not exactly, they should not be trusted necessarily to run these things from a creative perspective. And that's why we kind of always get at best a lackluster show in Saudi Arabia at this time. Hopefully Royal Rumble WWE will be more firmly in control of the creative decisions that happen on that show. But slight thumbs down, possibly the best Saudi show overall, but still that still equals bad pay-per-view, PLE as it were.
Yeah, I'm going to have to give it go. I'm going to have to say the same, Matt, same as you. Thumbs down overall. Just the feeling, just the week, right? The uncertainty, the WWE kind of saying whatever and where the show must go on and things like that. And, that does take me away from it. From a pure show, bell-to-bell perspective, I did like this show. But it's just that aura and everything around it for me that really kind of took me away a little bit from this show. There's bigger stuff happening in the world, and it's just, try to have fun with wrestling. That's at the end of the day what I try to do. Hutch?
Was there less commercials? I feel like there was not as many commercials in this time around.
It feel like that.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you guys got a couple seconds, I'd like to just talk about a few things like where we're at now at the end of this pay-per-view.
That's exactly where we are going to go with that right after this short break here on KPHR. That's Cat Power Hit Radio, and you're listening to A+ Wrestling. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to embrace the dark side? Introducing the Bring Bad News to the Dark Side Season 7 Unisex Tee from the exclusive official Bad News Allen Canadian Collection. Now on sale at WrestlingSuperstars.shop. Don't be a spineless cockroach. Grab yours today before they're gone. Head to WrestlingSuperstars.shop now.
And we are back here on A+ Wrestling here on KPHR. And we've been talking WWE Night of Champions. And I'm still here with Hutch and Matt And we're going to be talking a little bit more Night of Champions. Then we're going to be talking some AEW. And, well, we can all go back to some WWE Raw at that point. Because, well, just remember, 6 p.m. start Eastern for WWE Raw this week. Because they are doing a double taping with SmackDown to give everyone off July the 4th on Friday. All right, Hutch, you asked for it. I'm giving the floor to you. Where are we going on the road to SummerSlam now?
Well, geez, on the road to SummerSlam, I guess, it's going to be John Cena defending his title against Cody Rhodes. I don't know what's going to happen there, and I almost don't want to think about it. Just let them do whatever they're going to do. It might be something weird. Maybe they'll just give the belt to Cody, and I think it all depends on what happened kind of in this main event here. We had John Cena and CM Punk going for the handshake, and John Cena hesitating with the belt and throwing it down. And could this be the first signs of him turning face? Because he's going to have to turn face at some point before the end of his run. And so we've got Seth Rollins there. Is Seth gonna cash in on Gunther? Is Goldberg gonna win and then lose to Seth? Is Seth gonna have the title? And it's obviously gonna be Sami Zayn probably winning the Rumble in Saudi and then going to Mania. But him beating Rollins seems to be the match. So when is Rollins going to cash in, and how is that going to happen? That's what I'm thinking about right now. As far as Cody and Cena, geez, man, I don't know. I don't want to see a double turn, and I really like Cena's heel persona. In fact, I wouldn't mind talking about why I like it now and why I didn't for a little while, but I don't want to keep talking. Matt, what did you think about everything overall?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I agree it's way too early to do that double turn. I've liked Cena's heel run since day one. Since he's come back, I think other than the actual WrestleMania finish, I think Cena's heel work has been pretty on point. I liked his first couple promos. The one he cut in Belgium with the crowd just eviscerating him. I'll remember that promo for a very long time. I've been higher on Cena's heel work than most. Yes, Sammy's winning one of the two titles at WrestleMania this year. It really seems like Royal Rumble in Saudi. That's a great call. Can easily see that. It would have a lot more impact. It would have a lot more impact if you won the WWE title. And you can have Rollins cash in on Cody after Cody beats Cena to get there. You can do all kinds of things to actually get to that point. But I hope that it's Cena versus Sammy or Sammy versus Rollins, who has cashed in on someone for the WWE title at WrestleMania when and if.
Interesting point. I like that. Yeah, it seems pretty inevitable at this point, at least from our perspective, that Sami Zayn is going to be getting a push between now and next year's WrestleMania, and we'll see where we go with that. Let's talk about on the women's side. The women's side is a little more foggy, right? Especially with the Liv Morgan injury. What is Io Sky up to over the next few months? Hutch, thoughts on that?
Geez, I don't know. I feel like what's Tiffany Stratton up to, really? It seems like she's in a holding pattern. They're not giving very much priority to these ladies' championships. Hopefully, they're not just waiting for Rhea Ripley to come back out of her holding pattern, because I don't think Rhea needs the title. But Io, I wouldn't mind seeing her against Asuka. That'd be fun. Asuka is available and free now to challenge her. I think they're very lucky with having with the Judgment Day, having Perez around, that she can kind of slide right into that Liv Morgan spot. And it even gives a reason for Liv to be upset when she returns. Kind of like, hey guys, you just gave her my title. You just gave her all my stuff. You just pretended I wasn't around. And now she's dressing like me. She looks like me. She's acting like, what the hell is going on around here? So I don't know. I think that's the direction they'll go with that. So I think that leaves Io with Asuka. That's a match I want to see. And I think WWE needs to start giving people matches they want to see.
Yeah. Matt, thoughts on that?
Yeah, Io Asuka sounds like the plan. I think Jade Cargill is going to beat Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam. That could be a rough one. But Tiffany Stratton's her being stuck in the mud a little bit, I think, is because she's such a natural heel. And she got over to the point where the crowd kind of dictated that they wanted her to be babyface. WWE went with it. That's not a bad idea, but she's kind of peaked what she can do as a babyface, I think we're seeing it. I think we're seeing the ceiling. Her ceiling, her like true calling in professional wrestling is going to be as a friggin' heel. Like she is meant to be that mean girl heel. She does it so well. She did it so well in NXT. That's how she got to the main roster so quickly in the first place. So I think once Jade beats Tiff and then Naomi cashes in on Jade, then Tiff can turn heel and really get going.
Yeah.
So does that mean that? Does that mean they're taking all of the fuel out of the rocket that they've strapped to Stephanie Vaquer? I highly doubt she's going to spend the rest of the year without something around her waist. Like, something's got to happen there. Sorry to cut you off there, Boris, but I mean, they've got it. It's not just strapped to her back. They got it right up her butt. Jeez.
Yeah. It's crazy, actually. I actually completely forgot about Stephanie Vaquer, right? And we do have, the secondary titles on the women's division, but on the Raw side, you have Becky Lynch and Bayley kind of going at it. Like, do we throw Stephanie Vaquer in there? And then on the SmackDown side with the U.S. title, Julia just won that one, and I have a feeling that run is going to be epic. I think that is honestly the title to watch right now in the women's division.
Yeah, that's how they're gonna actually build her up to people. With the language barrier and the short amount of time on NXT, they want to show people why they support and are behind Julia. And I think this is their chance. Because as somebody that watches a lot of wrestling and likes wrestling a lot, watches a lot of Japanese wrestling, I don't know a lot about Julia. I wasn't watching NXT for even a couple of months, and there goes Julia out of my brain. And I was not watching Stardom. I'm not that into Yoshi. I love my Japanese wrestling of all sorts, but Joshi has never been my top thing. So they've got to show me why she's so great.
Yep. Yeah. Matt, what would you do with the women's division right now?
Yeah, I think we're all around it. Just continue to treat it as seriously as they are. Step one. And yeah, Julia needs to have some good matches, beat some people, get over. I love the idea of Io versus Asuka. Build that for WrestleMania. Stephanie Vaquer can take on whoever comes out of Bayley versus Becky as Intercontinental Champion around WrestleMania season. That makes a lot of sense to me. Like we said, we got Liv and Roxanne kind of ready to go. We got Jade and Naomi, and Bianca's going to mix into that, kind of ready to go. I think the women's division's in good shape. Overhated right now is the women's division. They're still doing well.
Yeah, agreed with you there. All right, gentlemen, it was Night of Champions. We still have a few minutes to chat. Let us turn the page and chat about AEW All In, happening in just around 3 weeks. Matt, we've been talking about this for the past few weeks. How are you feeling about All In?
Yeah, it's like the gift and the curse of having 6 weeks to build up a show like this. Like they talk about it so much and they announce the matches so far in advance that once you get around this period, it's just like, okay, just bring me to the day. I just want to see the show. I don't really care to see 3 weeks of Dynamite leading up to it, but the stuff is good. Like if you sit down and watch, I've since day one, I've been loving MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. I really like that story that they're telling. That's one of my favorite things in all of wrestling right now. I really enjoy the Will Ospreay character and him and Swerve kind of banding together. Seems like the Young Bucks are going to no longer be on-screen heel figureheads, which is a welcome change. That story is so played out since Vince McMahon, since Eric Bischoff 25 years ago. It's been played out. We don't need to see it anymore. I hope that ends at All In. I think the actual night of All In, July 12th coming up, is going to be a big changing of the guard for AEW, because hopefully we get the Young Bucks removed from their heel authority figure gimmick, and we get Jon Moxley losing the title, and now it's a brand new day in AEW, and I think that's welcome. But just getting there, it's starting to feel not like a slog, but it just like feels like we're going slowly uphill, and hopefully we hit a nice drop like a roller coaster, and we don't just spin our wheels for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think that was kind of my point last week, right? Where you just want to get there at this point. The build has been good, but it just feels like they're just going through the motions at this point, and we're still 3 weeks away from All In, and it just feels like it's just taking forever. Hutch, thoughts on All In and their current build to that night?
I don't know. I don't think that Jon Moxley is losing this title. I think that when you're backstage at AEW, I think they think this thing is a success. They think the Death Riders are over. They think it's awesome. And from what I hear behind the scenes, that is absolutely true. Like they don't see this as a negative the way that a lot of fans do. I don't know why this title is stuck in this suitcase. I got to tell you, when Moxie first came out and was like, this isn't your company anymore, when he first approached Giovanni, I was like, wow, this could go places. And I kept waiting to see why they were doing this. Like, why are you here? Why are the Death Riders? Give me something. And now we're like, how far into this thing? And I don't think it's going to end. I think they're waiting for Darby Allin, and they're going to have Darby win. And I sure hope he shows up in this gauntlet and wins the gauntlet and then catches it at the end of the night. And at the end of the night, we got Darby with the title, because I don't think they're going to put it on Hangman. And I don't think they're going to take it out of that damn case. And I don't know what they're going to do with Monet and Tony Storm. Like, this is the problem I have with AEW. It's like chaotic, and I love it. There's so much about it that's great, but they keep turning me off. Like, I'm not watching AEW these days. I just listen to reviews of it. I don't actually watch it that much, because it is just great matches and then chaos. Like, let me say, what was I about to say there? Like, I feel like Tony Khan has an end game and then nothing past the end game. Like, we knew that Okada and Kenny were going to face each other from like day one of them signing this thing. And you could almost, you can't tell me you weren't having conversations 4 months ago about, intercontinental title. What if they both get the titles? And what if they this and that? I mean, this whole thing seems so obvious. And what do they do when they get to the end of it? They're going to feed Okada to Takeshita, because you don't want to beat Takeshita. You don't want to beat Okada. What are you going to do there? You can't have both of them in the Don Callis family forever. They're already teasing some tension there. Kenny's not going to lose this damn match. He's going to win. I think the only thing that is unpredictable is perhaps the main event. Like, maybe Hangman will win. Maybe somebody's like, oh, maybe we should end this thing. And what are they going to do with Monet and Storm? Like, what happens after somebody wins? Because it's got to be Monet. Tony can bounce back. And they're not going to take away her TNT title or all of her titles and put it on Tony. So Tony's going to lose this title. And now what do we do with Monet and all these goddamn belts? Like, what's the end game?
Well, that's the thing.
What happens to the...
Right? I kind of feel like All In is kind of like, like I mentioned, they're WrestleMania. And it will be interesting to see what happens after All In, because... you're right. Like, it does kind of feel like the end game for them, and I'm very curious to see where we go from there. Matt, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the match Tony versus Monet is only for Tony's belt, which is why I think Tony is going to win, because they can do it. But if I'm wrong on that, and if it is for, or if it ends up being for all of the titles, then yeah, probably Mercedes is going to win. But no, I think it's only for Tony, so that's why Tony's going to win.
Okay, that was a bit of stream of consciousness for me. I didn't really even think about it, but now that you've mentioned it, I think you're correct. Of course, yes.
No worries. Also, okay, it's a huge mistake if Moxley leaves Texas with that title. A huge mistake. You would know better than us about what's going on backstage, and if those conversations are happening, that's fascinating, because they're ignoring pretty much every facet of the fan base, not just online, but I think even the crowd reactions are dwindling rapidly for these guys, these Death Riders. So that's crazy to me, but I don't doubt you at all. You would know, man. So that's just a crazy thing to hear. If Moxley beats Hangman, I think it's a huge mistake, but they have to do that Darby thing you said. They have to. Either Hangman or Darby has to leave the WrestleMania level show with that belt. Otherwise, it's going to be vibes of Stone Cold Rock WrestleMania X7, where it's this amazing, extravagant show that leaves a bad taste in your mouth and almost ruins the entire wrestling business. It's such a bad taste,
Great take, and we'll see what happens there. All right before we go, you've been hearing his voice for the past hour. Hutch, welcome to the A+ family. How about you tell our listeners a little something about yourself?
All right, well, Hutch Henrys, that's RIES at Hutch Henrys. You're going to find me on most social media, but I am one of the two owners and producers of Demand Lucha, because you demand lucha. So premier wrestling league here in Canada and in Toronto, and we do pretty good. You can find us on YouTube, Demand Lucha. We often go live. For our last couple of shows, we've just been doing post-production similar to Progress Wrestling and other things like that, so check us out on the YouTube mostly. And yeah, that's about it. I won't push too much more of my stuff. I guess I should go and look at it all and make sure it's worthy to be looked at the moment. I've been very busy with a lot of other things. But I don't know. I still wanted to like mention one other thing about these damn companies and the booking going on. But
Do it. You got a few minutes
I guess
left.
I'm supposed to put myself. Yeah, I don't want to switch into Matt's time to put himself over.
Matt's more than over
No,
with our
I got
listeners.
time. I got plenty of time. All I do is put myself over, brother. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, you can find Demand Lucha on YouTube, but you can also, I guess I should remember to start pushing this. You can find at Hutch Henry's on YouTube. I've been doing a lot of talking heads and commentaries and like history. I just recently did part 1 of the history of Toronto's Canadian Championship, the one that Josh Alexander now holds for MLP. That they're claiming that lineage, but watch the video. I clear it up. I make pretty much sense of it. But what I wanted to talk about here just for a moment is I was talking about the backstage sentiment. I wouldn't know. I don't know what's going on with booking, but I know a lot of people that work there, and I see where you're saying that I would know. I do know some backstage sentiment because I talk with guys about this. But one thing I've noticed as just a fan of wrestling for a long time, someone who watched through the Monday Night Wars, these companies they're more different than any two competing wrestling companies have ever been. And especially now with TKO and the board taking over. Like WWE is like super massive freaking corporate right now, to the point that they might even sell off WWE because it's just an arm of the beast now. And Tony Khan, I mean, these it's a much younger crowd working for them and in the audience. And it's a one-man show. He is the Vince McMahon now. He's the guy with his private company, and WWE is Turner now, is freaking Warner Media now. They're the huge thing. And everybody in that locker room, they live and breathe wrestling all the time. They go from arena to arena. They all hang out with each other. They all go drinking with each other. They're in each other's hotel rooms playing video games. WWE, they're not doing that as much. They're on flights. They're not really traveling together in the same way. They're splitting up rosters, splitting up sections. They've got the training. They've got down in Florida, the PC and things like that. AEW is all self-contained. These people are a family. And so the reason they can think this is working really well and they don't realize is because they can look online and shit, these fans don't know what they're talking about, and they all support each other and believe it's amazing. And they're constantly in it all the time, which is why sometimes they can't see past their own nose. As somebody that has been booking wrestling for a long time, I've always have to keep stepping back from what I want and what I think is good, and realize it's very often what the right thing is not really what I want to happen, or not even what I think should happen. And people get injured, people change schedules, things change all the time. Like, decisions get made for really weird reasons in wrestling. But AEW seems so chaotic, and I think it's because they're too close to their own stuff all the time. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. I love that. That's a very interesting food for thought as we start closing this show. Matt, any final comments before we log off?
No, it was a pleasure to meet you and hear from you, Hutch, and we look forward to more, hopefully, here on this A+ network. Always nice to talk to you, Boris. Quickly, Monday Night Raw coming up today. Penta and Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. We got the New Day defending their tag team titles against the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and JD McDonough. And here's one for me. Here's one for the sickos, the AEW fans. Couple old dogs. Sheamus versus Rusev. Hook it to my veins, Boris. Two of my faves.
Really looking forward to that match. Really looking forward to that. I think that's going to be just a hard-hitting, just fun match here on Raw. Remember, early start, 6 p.m. Eastern on Netflix. Gentlemen, it has been a pleasure, but it is that time that we have to log off and say goodbye to everybody. And just remember that we are A+ Wrestling here on KPHR, and none of this would be possible without our awesome tag team partners like TO Boat Tours. That's TOBoatTours.com. Book a boat tour here on Lake Ontario. We can be found on aplusproductions.com and on all of the social medias at A+ Productions. And if you want to be part of the conversation, the best place for that is the Facebook group. And to find that, facebook.com and search for A+ Productions. On behalf of the entire A+ crew, on behalf of Hutch and Matt, thank you so much for listening. But most importantly, stay tranquilo.